All right, let's play this, and this is Opie's take on mine and Bill Burr's beef.
Cumia or Cumia.
Oh, you don't know this feud?
Hold on. So not really.
I think Anthony going after Bill Burr is the most ridiculous thing ever. Bill Burr back in the day was a monster for the Opie and Anthony show. Now you got me going, Ron. I think it's completely ridiculous. There are people that did the O&A show that I don't really, dig anymore, and I'm not going to mention names today, but I leave them alone because I know.
What? Every comic that found out you're an asshole and doesn't deal with you anymore, those names, I'll name them. Rich Voss. Rich Voss thinks you're an asshole, Opie. You had some kind of a business dealing, your wives were friends, and, Rich found out you're a piece of shit, and he doesn't deal with you anymore. Nick DiPaolo, Nick thinks you're an asshole. Louis C.K., Louis thought you were an asshole before the show even ended. A lot of comics did, but they came in because they knew the O&A show and them being on it would put asses in seats. Bill Burr, he wasn't coming on doing us favors. He did a great job when he was on the show, but he didn't get the call to come on the O&A show and go, I got to throw these guys another bone. He came on to promote himself. The O&A show became the place for comics to go to ingratiate themselves with the listeners and people so they could sell tickets. That's it. They weren't our friends. And look, see how he talks about, like, he did great things for us on the O&A show. So I'm supposed to just put aside being shunned from the Patrice benefits, being thrown out of the Comedy Cellar, having other comics consider me persona non grata because of what the laws Bill Burr has laid down. That. All after the O&A show. But the only thing Opie knows, he sees it like, oh my God, Bill was so good on the show. And I can't believe Opie's shit-talking, or Anthony is shit-talking him now. Well, if you paid any attention to things that happen after the O&A show, maybe you'd understand. But even then, I don't think so. Because here's what Opie is doing with this. There's another angle to this. And I think everyone knows it. Bill Burr has something going on for himself. He's got a buzz, a name. I think the Riyadh Comedy Festival took him down a couple of notches. But the Star Wars stuff, Mandalorian, filling arenas, just, Bill Burr, at least up until recently, was riding high. Hi, this is Anthony Cumia.
Hello, I'm Gavin McInnes.
And together we're Compound Censored.
And we would like you to subscribe with this deal using this promo code right below me right now.
Do it, because it's very entertaining. Comics don't ride high for a long time, by the way. When they reach that arena level, hold on, because the hill is coming. There's very few that survive that amount of exposure and success and can hold that level of it. They usually go down and, they're back in clubs and what have you. But irregardless, Opie's trying to stay on the good side of Bill Burr. Again, this delusion that Bill is going to call him because he needs him for something. Hey, Opie, you want to host a show? You want to bring me up at Madison Square Garden? You want... all things that will never happen. Opie, he likes joking about the fact that he is, I'm a nobody now. He says he's not famous anymore. But he does this little laugh at the end, trying to say, like, I really am, but I'm cool with where I am now. I'm cool with, I used to be somebody. Like he says that and I go, that nervous laugh of like, I'm still someone, right? So he's waiting for these calls that will never come. KROQ in LA isn't going to call you. New Year's Rockin' Eve isn't going to call you. No one's calling you. He makes fun of my radio gig, my conservative talk radio show on WABC. It's a radio show. They called me. I was doing the Anthony Cumia show on Compound Media and now on Censored.tv Compound Media. And that got a radio company to call me and ask me to be an on-air personality on their conservative talk radio station and then their syndicated stations across the country. That's what happened. I did get a call, and I was way more persona non grata than you. I had been canceled for racial reasons. Whoa, no one's calling you back. I stuck it out. I did 10 years of doing my own show about stuff. I'd have topics, I'd have guests, I'd have whatever it was. And it was recognized by WABC radio in New York. And they called me and gave me a job. Who's calling you, Opie? Who's calling Greg Opie Hughes? He talked about some big deal, and it turned out to be a company that just plays podcasts and gives a revenue share of commercials for, you know, the usual dick pills and energy drinks or things like that. So it's like, who's calling you? Who's looking at your scary talent and getting you on board? No one. That's why he doesn't curse for the most part on his broadcasts. It's YouTube. You could say fuck. You could say shit. You could talk about things that you couldn't talk about on regular radio. Why would he hold that back if he didn't think that every thing he puts out is this amazing resume that someone will see and offer him the gig of a lifetime? He'll finally be able to prove in his 60s that he didn't need Anthony Cumia or Jim Norton. That call's never, ever coming. Ever. You go on and make fucking $5 to talk to 30 people about nothing. About nothing. And then you dare criticize anyone else that's actually doing something? He shits all over shows like Who Are These Podcasts and Uncle Rico. Do they do a show? Is it just, talking about someone else's show? Why don't you try to do something? We do content here. We do. You made $5. Shuli and Carl, Who Are These Podcasts, Uncle Rico, they make thousands of dollars. Whether you like what they're doing or not, I don't think they really care what Greg Opie Hughes thinks about what they're doing. But whether you like it or not, they are making thousands of dollars doing what they do. You're shouting out somebody for $2. And this is Greg Opie Hughes, Opie from the Opie and Anthony show, the guy who's shitting on people that are getting tens of thousands of views on their videos, who have a network radio show. But, it's AM. Oh, it's Sunday night. Oh, they called me, Opie. They called me. How many calls are you getting? That's a rhetorical question. 0. You got a spam email from an internet vulture company. These companies send anyone with a podcast, they send them an email. Hey, we can help out your numbers. Love your podcast. It's a form letter. Love your podcast. You want bigger numbers? You want a revenue share? Come on board with us. And they have a stable of nobodies, just nobodies. People that have 3 viewers. And that was his big call. That's who called him. And what has it done? I haven't seen, he talked about this months ago, and I haven't seen one difference, not one iota of difference between his shows then and now. So what is he doing? He sits there. He bitches about people that are much more successful than him. He waxes fantastic about the old days. He gets mad at people that he considered friends who were no more than business associates as guests on the show. And the latest, co-hosts du jour, he talks about what a great team they are and how loyal they are. Why? Because they're sitting in a room with you today? We all did. All the guys at BAB, Pete from around the corner, all the people at AAF. That I went to AAF when they had their last show. I went up to Boston, went to AAF, did the morning show, talked with the air staff. It was the last day AAF was going to be on the air. History in Boston radio. I was there. Where were you? I spoke to the on-air personalities, the behind-the-scenes people we had worked with many years ago, and not one of them had a nice thing to say about you. Not one. And I'm not even going to go through the whys and hows and whos. Everyone knows. I've said it before. Read my book. Read both of my books. You'll understand why. But that's why. So you're sitting in the room with Ron the waiter and the people at Gephardt's. You're sitting in the room with them today. They'll catch on. Everyone does. Everyone catches on. And then they're disloyal assholes, this, that, the other thing. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you. There are people that I've worked with over the years that despise me. I get it. I understand that. There are people from NEW, I guess. Yeah. There are people from Sirius XM, I guess. I really can't name any. Compound Media, yeah, probably a couple. But the vast majority of everyone I've worked with still has some kind of a, occasional passing relationship. I'm still welcome in their circles and liked and enjoyed. I don't know. What about you, Ope? Could you talk to anyone that was involved with the Opie and Anthony show at Sirius XM Satellite Radio? Anyone? The intern, what's his name, that got his face vomited on? Pat Duffy? You got Pat Duffy. Everyone else doesn't like you. It's kind of sad. As he calls me pathetic for having a beef with Bill Burr, when I've explained exactly why there is a beef with Bill Burr. But I'm the pathetic one. Okay, play a little more of this.
What they fucking did for our radio show.
Right.
For whatever reason, Anthony's obsessed with Bill Burr and being married to a black woman and all this garbage. And the fact that Bill Burr did amazing.
I'm obsessed with Bill Burr married to a black woman. See, this is what Opie does. This is when I talk about when he said that Howard Stern and Dice were goofing on his dead father, saying Howard was saying that he wants to fuck Opie's dead father's skull, and Dice was laughing. And for years, Opie was livid about this. And the truth was, and I knew this truth years ago when it happened. The truth was, Howard was talking about Mancow, Mancow's father. Dice brought up Mancow, and Howard went like, "Oh, that guy." And Dice is like, "Well, I'm still friends with the guy." He goes, "Really? Really? I'd like to fuck his dead father's skull." And Dice is trying not to laugh, and Howard's laughing. And that is what Opie, in his psychotic, twisted fuck mind, turned into. Howard is goofing on my dead father, saying he'll fuck his skull. He never said it. The truth is, we weren't important enough to Howard to talk about at length. It was easy for Howard to goof on Mancow and stuff. Mancow didn't really fight back effectively. We fought back. Howard didn't want us fighting back because I was very effective with comedic jabs at Howard and pointing out Howard's hypocrisy and things like that. It wasn't the same, that every other jock around the country, how they goofed on Howard. Howard saw the potential and the audience that we had and said, I'm going to ignore these fucking guys. I'm not really going to bash them or trash them. I'll just say that I'll go to the boss if I want him to shut up about something. This is what the relationship was between Howard and the O&A show. Opie wanted Howard to bash us. He wanted it. And he fantasized about it to the point where he believed that Howard was saying such heinous things about Opie's father. It never happened. But Opie believes things that happen. See, he'll say things like, "Oh, Opie had a problem with Bill Burr's black wife." No, I didn't. But he believes it, so it's true in Opie's head. I don't give a fuck about Bill Burr's black wife, any wife. I don't care. The problem stemmed from her telling Bill not to work with me anymore. I was told this by Bill Burr at the Whiskey in LA during a sit-down meeting that ended with Bill getting up and saying, "I can't work with you anymore." Oh, he did such good things for us on O&A, so I'm supposed to go, "That's okay, Bill." No, I have a problem. And I have a problem with his wife telling him that, he couldn't work with me anymore. The fact that she's black doesn't really matter. It is the reason that she told him not to work with me anymore because of my tweet about the black community and her being black. That has to play into it. But for Opie, he's a simpleton. Opie is a simpleton. And he just has to go, "Anthony talked about black there. He doesn't like Bill's black wife." You're an idiot, Craig. You're an idiot. All right, roll him.
Stuff for the Opie and Anthony show. Amazing. And Bill Burr did nothing to Anthony. They didn't agree on stuff while we were doing the Opie and Anthony show. And there was some good back and forth between the two. And I love that. But for Anthony to go down this road and obsess and trash Bill Burr on a regular basis is so pathetic, if you want to know the truth.
Pause.
Pathetic.
You see? You see how he just looks at things in the frame of the Opie and Anthony show? Opie's references and anything Opie can cull from for information to come up with an assessment of something or what is happening right now, this instant. He can only go to 2014. Anything after that, he doesn't know what is going on. Oh, they had their things on air. Yeah, it was a show. And me and Bill didn't agree on a lot of social issues, and it made for good confrontational radio. Of course I get that. But then after I got fired, I went, oh, he used to argue with me on the show. Fuck Bill Burr. No. I for no reason, obsess on him. I spelt out every reason why I have a problem with Bill Burr. If Opie doesn't know about it, then he's an idiot. And he gets these things in his head and they become the fucking rock solid, God-given truth, absolutely fact. This happened when they're completely wrong or they absolutely did not happen. That's how insane this guy is. He's got a mental illness. It's a mental illness. And he gets these fantasies in his head. Thank God it's only at this level. Because there are people that get these fantasies in their head. It becomes gospel to them. And they have to kill somebody. Because what happened in their head is what happened. So they need to murder somebody because of it. So for the Opster, thank God it's only him whining and trashing people based on this delusion that cements itself in his cashew brain. All right, let's see.
So he must be going after Bill Burr hard right now because of the Saudi Arabia thing.
Well, look, man, I said it. You're not, why? Look.
He's taking a lot of heat from that. And
I understand that, but
good, Ron. Go get him, Ron.
It was a money grab for these fucking guys. They're not morally sound. These comedians, as long as they can explain why they went and did that festival, that's the key to this.
Pause. Could you pause right there too? So Opie's hot take on this is that they were offered a lot of money, and since comics aren't known for their morality or anything. They took the money and did this Riyadh Comedy Festival in Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia, I mean, the shit they do is against everything these liberal comics preach to their audiences during their shows. And Opie thinks that's okay. Like, well, no, as long as they explain it. Oh, as long as I say, hey, everyone, I got a bag full of money. So that's fine that I'm contradicting everything that I profess to believe in and that I've been preaching from the stage about misogyny and racism and oppression and all that stuff that I say was total horseshit. And I'm just doing it for the money. And as long as they say it, the Opster thinks that's fine. It's cool, man. Maybe he's waiting for the call from Riyadh to be on the next one. Continue.
With anything they're doing over there, but the money was insanely ridiculous, so I went for it.
So guess what Bill Burr got caught doing?
What?
So I just read this article yesterday, came across. So I guess he has a PR team now. So no, Bill Burr, people came after him hard.
Bill Burr is a A-lister now.
Right.
Do you understand? He started on the Opie and Anthony show, basically, and now he's an A-lister. I remember hanging out at the Cellar with him. And talking books and stuff. And, no one really gave a shit on a bigger level about Bill Burr until he started doing Opie and Anthony. That's a fact.
Yeah. Well, I remember you saying, like, Opie and Anthony was a springboard for his career.
Look, and I do have to say this. Bill Burr had the talent to get as big as he is today, of course. But we certainly, helped push him out there in the beginning. And then it got to a point he didn't need us anymore. But this motherfucker, Bill Burr, never forgot about me.
Yeah.
Every time I asked him for something, he's like, yeah, no problem, Ope.
Right. So apparently because Bill Burr is taking such a pounding from the Saudi.
Why don't you ask him on your show? Bill Burr will do you a favor. He hasn't forgotten about you. What? Why don't you give him a call? You got his number? Give him a call. Tell him to do one of your shows. That'd be great. You two could just riff back and forth. You could talk about the big bag of money from Saudi Arabia. You could talk about the fact that I'm so pathetic that out of nowhere, after Bill did so much for the Opie and Anthony show, I just started hating him because he has a black wife. Why don't you do that, Ope? if Bill is such a good friend and still will do anything for you and hasn't forgotten about you? Go ahead. Oh, right. He doesn't fucking even think about you or know you exist. Who cares? Oh, what am I going to do? What is he even doing? You don't even know what you do. You sit in front of a nuclear explosion so that no one could see your aging face. And then he has the nerve to, goof on other people's looks and my wacky glasses. He's sitting in front of Hiroshima. And so it's very calculated. His lens is filthy. He sits in front of fucking the Trinity test. So no one can actually see his aging. You're aging naturally. He doesn't look any better or any worse than anyone else in their 60s. But he's so self-conscious because he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have any personality, any intellect, any ability to engage someone in interesting conversation. So all he has had his whole life has been his looks. And at 60, you start losing some of your hair, your teeth go a little wacky, the wrinkles come in, and blemishes. So he sits in front of Nagasaki, and this is his confidence. If you want to know about Opie's self-confidence and self-worth, that's it right there in that picture. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. There's something there that you can make fun of, and I can't take it. And I have nothing else to offer you. That's what he's doing. Oh, my God. All right, roll him.
The Arabia thing, because they think it's hypocritical, particularly for him, because of the stance he takes on other things. You know what I mean?
Thanks, Ron.
So anyways, apparently they have they figured it out, and apparently Bill Burr hired a PR firm, and I guess he has bots. I don't know what that is. He has bots coming out like praising Bill Burr that are
fake
bots and it's not real
viewers and-
people. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like Opie knows what a bot
I deal
is.
with bots. I deal with bots. There's a
I'm
few
not sure
people
what
that
those are.
there's a few people that hate my guts, and they use the bots to try to really push the hate forward. I of course I know what it is.
So apparently Bill Burr's using bots to counteract the negativity.
Look, I think it was stupid for Bill Burr to do that festival. I'm not going to lie to you. I think I don't think there's enough money in the world to do that where he stands. There's other comedians where they're like, fuck, this will change my life if I go over there and do the festival. I'm going to make $1 million, $2 million. I'm going to go for it, and then I'll explain why I did it when I get back to America. I'm really confused why Bill Burr would go for that one, because the people around him must have said,
care.
this is going to be tough to defend, Mr. Burr.
This is my question about Bill Burr's career, is a lot of his material is about defending people's rights or pointing out the hypocrisy.
Right.
Could you pause this? Like, this is an interesting dynamic right here. If anything is interesting about the Opie thing that he's doing. But this is an interesting dynamic. Ron the waiter started doing this at Gephardt's. He's the wacky guy. He's loud. He's obnoxious. He's Boston and shit. And he's kind of this funny comic relief guy. Not that he's funny, but it's supposed to be the funny comic relief guy. And now that he's been doing a spot regularly on Opie's broadcast, he's bringing more to the table as far as things that he thinks about and news stories and his take on it. And you realize something very interesting. Ron the waiter is much smarter than he comes across when he's just yelling and trying to be funny, things like that, trying to be part of the group at Gephardt's. He's way smarter than that. And he can do some, he can look at a story and pick it apart and get an opinion on it. And he has a little trouble communicating the opinion. He seems to stutter a little bit and things. But once it finally comes out, it's not a badly thought out opinion. And it's definitely a side. He's taking a side on it. And the host of your show has no clue about anything that's really going on. He has the delusional mind where he makes shit up, and that's the truth. And he's the most fence-sitting, wishy-washy, won't take one thing or the other. Like he said earlier, hey, they give a lot of money. It's okay as long as you say that, you know, you're doing it for the money. Bill Burr, he goes to it. And then he's like, yeah, I don't think Bill Burr should have done this. He's all over the place. He just wants to go whichever way he thinks the wind is blowing to get him more listeners and followers and shit. And then here's dumb Ron the Waiter, actually coming up with ideas and opinions. And through his hard time communicating them, he's letting people know. This is why he will not stay with the Opster. This is why. Opie will resent this. Like Opie started with this whole Bill Burr thing. Oh, Bill Burr, great guy. He did so many great things for the Opie and Anthony show. Anthony's just shits on him out of nowhere. Came out of nowhere. Anthony's pathetic. And then Ron comes out with all this shit about Opie's buddy, Bill Burr. So Opie's going to be like this fucking asshole. You're making me look like the idiot I am. And then Ron is going to start resenting Opie because Ron is going to feel like he's contributing everything. He's the only one putting anything interesting on his podcast and getting nothing for it. Absolutely nothing. I mean, the mattress situation, for those of you that don't know, Ron put a camera around his house once on Opie's show thing, and he showed a mattress that was disgusting. It looked like it was behind a dumpster in an alley. And Opie's like, oh, maybe we got to get you a mattress. Maybe we got to get you a mattress. Maybe we got to get you. You just kept saying it. And he had no intention of ever getting Ron a mattress. This is a guy that does his show. He pays him nothing. He's the only one that does Opie's show that actually comes to the table with something. And Opie won't give him dime one. And the guy's sleeping on a rotted mattress. And Opie goes, oh, yeah, we got to get you a mattress. Months went by. Nothing. What finally happened? Who Are These Podcasts? With Carl. Adam, who does Carl's show, and Who Are These Podcasts? They decided to buy Ron a mattress. They bought him a mattress. They shipped it to Gephardt's because they didn't have Ron's address. And it said, you know, a note, this is for Ron the Waiter. He needs a mattress. It's from the guys that, you know, Who Are These Podcasts, or Adam Bush. Whoever actually had put the money out. I guess it was Adam. I'm not sure, though. But it wasn't Opie. I could tell you that much. And Opie's like, and he doesn't like addressing the mattress anymore because it makes him look bad. All this resentment ping-pongs back and forth. How do I know this? Well, I've been there. So Ron, I don't think Ron will take this much longer. He's still in the honeymoon phase of, hey, this is fun. I know Opie. I was a fan up in Boston. He's Opie. I'm doing a show with him. It's kind of exciting. But after a while, he's just going to be like, oh, this fucking guy. Like everyone else does. This fucking guy. So if you enjoyed that clip,
then subscribe to Compound Censored using this promo code.